Placement guarantee is a hoax. Understand, product management is such a high responsibility job that even if someone is telling you that you are going to get placement guarantee from this job, that can never happen. Product management cannot be taught in schools. It cannot be taught in colleges because it's such an experience-driven field. We have just gone ahead and turned the funnel altogether upside down. So what we make sure is that there are people who know product management who are maybe 5, 7, 8 years ahead of you. We collect them together and we help them go ahead and teach you product management in a very structured environment, which is much more than a 1 hour, 2 hour mentorship. But you don't have to go ahead and spend your money or your time in order to do a complete MBA just because you have to go ahead and break into product management. So I'm very positive about this AI era and all because I believe humans are going to be ethical. There are going to be legal boundaries in which everyone has to work, every company has to work. So I was able to work at that company and I was leading the growth initiatives over there, and I was able to go ahead and take the company from around 10,000 users to 500,000 users in a period of around 1.5 years that I was working over there.
Welcome to the show, Ankit. It's a pleasure having you on the V Show. For everyone, Ankit is the founder of HelloPM. It's a product management community, and he runs product management courses there, right? For people who are aspiring product managers or people who are looking to transition to better roles or even to learn in general. Ankit has built a great brand of value, I would say, in terms of just the way he attracts the right kind of students. He gives them value and of course changes their lives. So kudos, Ankit. It's really amazing to see your journey so closely personally in the way you have spent your last 1.5 to 2 years building this cohort-based courses community. So welcome to the show. Let's get
Yeah.
started.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for having me. Vaibhav. Really a pleasure to be here and maybe share a few things together.
Awesome, awesome. तो अंकित यार आप ये बताओ पहले तो कि you have been a PM yourself and hence you really understand the nitty-gritties of the space, you understand the pain points, you understand potential opportunities, right? How was your journey as a PM, right? And how, like, basically, how did you start? And then you actually led great teams at great startups and, of course, mature products, right? So, how was your journey from being a novice to being a senior PM and, embracing that journey?
करेक्ट राइट तो वैभव ऐसे मतलब कभी चेकलिस्ट में नहीं था कि आई वांट टू गो अहेड एंड बिकम अ पीएम आउट देयर बिकॉज़ वी डिड नॉट नो एट दैट पीरियड ऑफ टाइम कि पीएम
हाँ
जैसा
कि
भी
क्या होता है 5 साल पहले तो
कुछ
कोई
होता है।
पता भी नहीं होता था पीएम क्या है।
करेक्ट तो वो मतलब वो क्रैकिंग द पीएम इंटरव्यू हमने भी देखी थी बट कभी पढ़ने की हिम्मत नहीं हुई शुरू में उसको व्हेन वी वर इन कॉलेज बट देन वी अंडरस्टूड कि ठीक है मतलब पीएम इज आल्सो वन ऑफ द फील्ड्स आउट देयर सो हाउ आई गॉट स्टार्टेड वाज दैट व्हाइल आई वाज इन कॉलेज आई डिड माय ओन कपल ऑफ स्टार्टअप्स or when I was moving out of college at that period of time, I was also part of my own startup only. So I did not sit for placements and all. And I make sure कि ठीक है मतलब कुछ खुद का कुछ ना कुछ तो कर ही लेंगे. And then I continued it for around a couple of years. We raised a bit of money as well, and we were able to make sure कि यार ठीक है थोड़ा sustained positions पे उसको लेके आ सकते थे. But then we are able to understand that it has a lot of opportunity cost, as in there are so many things that we can be doing, like me, the other co-founders, and the other team that could be doing, that we are missing out because we are not going after the right kind of opportunity out there. So then we decided that yes, right now we have to go ahead and learn something more about how the world works. And then after that, like I think the time was around 2017, 18 or something. And at that period of time, after I worked in my startup, I decided that yes, I have to go ahead and move out and learn a bit more about the world because so far I've been only working with like a team of 10, 15, 20 people where I was the founder. I was doing a lot of things by myself. I was acting as the CTO. I was acting as the product officer and doing all of the things by myself. So that was the context. And when I was looking to get started into like my job journey or my real corporate journey out there, I was puzzled that yes, whether I should go ahead and pick something which is very technical because I was coming from that particular background, or I should go ahead and pick something which is around business and marketing because that is also what I have learned in this few years out there. So I was very puzzled. So what I did was I reached out to like few product managers and few product leaders over LinkedIn. And they were kind enough because LinkedIn was not popular these days and a lot of people are not spamming them. So they were kind enough to go ahead and maybe give me some piece of advice and all. And that actually gone ahead and has changed my career, which is like initially when I was learning about product management, I was looking through books. I was looking through the content that was available out there, which was not a lot at that period of time. But these people, even if they have spent like 15, 20, 30 minutes with me, I was able to grab some kind of knowledge from the same. Okay. I used that knowledge and then I was able to go ahead and get a job at a company known as Shiro's. So Shiro's was an old company. I think they were there in the existing for 4 or 5 years. Not very old, but the kind of companies that I want to work for, it was a very old company. So 4 or 5 years old company. And then I decided that I need to go ahead and work over there. So the co-founder of Shiro's, like Siddharth, he was a senior from college. So he called me that, yes, we are having this position at Shiro's. So Shiro's has that period of time acquired their company known as Baby Gogo. So I started working with Shiro's, and there also I met our common friend who is Gagan. And Gagan was just leaving the company. I was joining the company at that period of time. And I took the journey. I witnessed the journey from around 1 million users to around 5 million users at Shiro's. And at that period of time, I was acting as head of growth. So I look at that journey, and this was the first company where I was able to go ahead and work with like 100, 120 odd people. So this was the journey at Shiro's, which completely like transformed me, like from working at my own startup to working at a more like a good kind of culture and a compact kind of culture out there that helped me learn a lot. After that, I moved to a company known as Indy Money. That was another experience in itself, because that was also a very small team at that particular period of time, about 150, 160 people out there. And we were only sitting at around 10, 12,000 people in terms of user base. And there also my responsibility is to help the product in terms of growth. So both of the companies have given a mandate that no, we don't want to like go ahead and spend a lot of money mindlessly in terms of performance marketing. So we need to make sure that we are developing through the product growth tactics and all. So I was able to work at that company, and I was leading the growth initiatives over there. And I was able to go ahead and take the company from around 10,000 users to 500,000 users in a period of around 1.5 years that I was working over there. And the most fortunate part at that company was that I was able to work with the founder himself, who is Ashish Kashyap, and who also founded PayU and some other companies, and Goibu as well. So that was like a very, very like a important thing that I was able to go ahead and gather from them. And after that, very recently, I have worked with a company known as Scalar Academy. So they have a very popular product known as Intervit. Some techies might be knowing about the same. So I was leading that particular product, taking that from around 250K users per month to around
I was
2.5 million users
preparing
per
for
month.
my interviews using interview bit, so I think you were the ones who you were the one who was making those questions tougher for me.
Yeah, not at that period of time, because I think you have completed your journey before that period of time. I joined the company in like around 2021. So when I
Okay.
joined the company, it was already popular, about 250K users a month. And then we made sure that we are exploring it to the 10x journey out there.
Hmm.
So that was a journey. And while I was working with Scalar, like parallelly, when I was leaving from Indy Money and moving to Scalar, I have started parallelly this HelloPM. And HelloPM, the concept is very, very simple. That we think that our belief is that product management cannot be taught in schools. It cannot be taught in colleges, because it's such an experience driven field. Okay. So what we make sure is that there are people who know product management who are maybe 5, 7, 8 years ahead of you. Why don't we go ahead? We collect them together, and we help them go ahead and teach you product management in a very structured environment, which is much more than a 1 hour, 2 hour mentorship. But you don't have to go ahead and spend your money or your time in order to do a complete MBA just because you have to go ahead and break into product management. So that was a small concept, that people who are going to teach at HelloPM, they have to be product managers, and we are going to make sure that we are leading by value rather than a sales team. So that has been a differentiation out.
Got it. And I feel this you rightly mentioned, right? There is a lot of bias against, again, nothing against people who do MBAs, but there's a lot of bias, right, in terms of getting someone who has done an MBA, let's say from an IIM or something, or some equivalent, institute to act as a PM, right? Versus someone who is fresh or who has done things more organically. And I completely buy in the fact that that is a particular skill which you can develop versus saying that okay, I only need an MBA degree and then I can continue. Tell me more about your passion for teaching, yeah, because I feel based on the multiple conversations we have had, I feel there is that innate sense of being a value giver which you have, right, which reflects in all pieces of your current organization, which is HelloPM, right? Right from the way you interview the applicants yourself, right, to even ensuring they have a successful outcome in terms of by conducting the right assessments, by getting the right people who give them practical experience and practical knowledge of the real world. It's not an outdated thing which you are teaching. And then ensuring that, okay, they get to fulfill their own dreams or their own objective of this course, right? And I personally feel that you look at more from a teacher and value creation lens than purely business lens, right? But what is your take on it, and how did you develop that passion?
Yes, I think that depends on the eventual purpose. Okay, so what happens is that when I'm going ahead and having a conversation with someone, if I understand the purpose of that conversation, for example, even if I'm going ahead and spending maybe half an hour with someone, okay, for me it would just be in half an hour. But for someone who is trying to be a product manager or trying to like figure out something that I've already figured out, that could be like a life-changing moment for them. For example, there was
Hmm.
someone who was going ahead and who was a product manager in a company for around 4 or 5 years, and they were feeling stuck in their career. Okay, and
Hmm.
we generally become myopic that we are only able to see the things which are short term for us, and we are not able to go ahead and take a
Absolutely.
the higher level view of the particular thing out there. So when that candidate has gone ahead, he has connected with me, and like maybe in half an hour I was able to suggest him something, and then we did a follow up calls. I was able to understand that my 1.5 hour or 2 hours can go ahead and entirely change maybe 4, 5, 6 years of this person out there, and maybe it can also go ahead and maybe change the entirety of the journey of their careers out there. Okay, so not saying that I have the complete impact, but maybe if I can change their direction by 1 degree in a right direction out there, that is something that I would be willing to do. So it's not like generally I would not want to go ahead and interact with a lot of people because we have to save our times. But when you understand that you have that lever, you have that leverage, that yes, even if you are going ahead and putting like a small piece of mass from your side on a one end of the lever, and then other person is getting so much value out of the same, then why don't you go ahead and do the same? And in education, we have this particular kind of, I would say, a privilege that whenever you go ahead, you are able to teach like 30, 40, 50, 60, 100 people, and with you to 1,000 people at once. Why don't you go ahead and maybe attach yourself to that particular purpose? And talking about the love of teaching, I think I have been teaching when I was in the school. So I used to
Okay.
make sure that I'm teaching people around like, so I've been like
I,
working with
I
couple.
knew it. I knew it that you would
Yes, yes,
have had a teaching experience earlier, because
yes, yes,
that
yes.
really reflects in the way you bring that energy in that conversation. But please go
Yes,
ahead.
yes, 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 correct. So I was like one of the first students in my college, or like in my school, who was introduced to computers, and also I made sure that yes, I was able to teach them to people around me, and that is how this thing started. But I didn't do like teaching and all when I was in college, and then it again started when I joined HelloPM and a couple of other companies out there.
Hmm. Interesting. Yeah, tell me more about like, and let's not talk about in terms of business numbers, because I know that that is something you are doing phenomenally well at your scale. But I want to understand the kind of impact you have been able to create, and how do you measure it, right? Do you measure it in terms of folks getting placed or folks getting promoted or whatever, or do you measure it in certain sense of, subjective evaluation you do or whatever? But what is your key metric to say that, okay, this is the metric which I will track as success of this cohort?
Cool, cool. So we are able to find that metric. Okay. So initially we struggled a lot with that particular metric because most of the things were qualitative. As in, I'll tell you a
Hmm.
story of that. There was a girl in our cohort, like her name, I think, is Kervi. And what she did was she was coming from an arts background, which is not seen as very traditional when you want to go ahead and get into product management. And she was very much enthusiastic to go ahead and do something in product management. So she came to the cohort. She did the cohort. She spent like around a couple of months with us, and then she was able to go ahead and she was able to convince a team, like the company known as Leap Scholar, that I want to go ahead and I'm also willing to go ahead and do an internship at a maybe a lesser amount of money as well. Okay. So she was able to go ahead and get an internship. Within like 1 month or 1.5 months of doing that internship, she was able to convert that internship into a full-time product management offer. Okay. So that was a kind of impact that you are able to see that yes, someone who is coming from a completely non-traditional background, if they are
Hmm.
willing enough to go ahead and do these things, and if we can go ahead and act as some kind of catalyst in their journey, then that is something that we have achieved. Okay. And similarly, what happens is that because our batch sizes are very small, we do not take 200, 500, 100 people in the batch. We make sure that yes, we are curating a bunch of people. There are 50, 60 people at maximum in a cohort out there. So we are able to give them the kind of attention that they deserve. Okay.
Hmm.
Not to say that other people who apply who are not going to get into the cohort, but we have certain kind of benchmarks over there. So there is already a lot of free content. If you consume that content, then you can go ahead and come in the program out there. So that is the benchmark that we have set. And a couple of other stories as well, that there was some person who was stuck in their career as a product manager and did not know that they were working for one company, and whenever they appeared for interview for any other company, their limited experience was limiting them. So then we have gone ahead and told them that no, this is actually, you are feeling some sort of imposter syndrome. You are getting inconfident because you think that other people know a lot more than you. Why don't you go ahead and invest
Hmm.
some time in order to learn? And then you will understand that what is your level. Maybe you will fail at 2 or 3 interviews, but maybe fourth, fifth, sixth, you are going to get that kind of feedback coming in. So I think that is something that we are able to understand, that yes, there is a lot of qualitative things that we are doing, but it was very difficult for us to understand that how do we convert these things into quantitatively. Because when you are working in a business, there is only one revenue, the one metric that you are going to follow, which is the revenue. So, but we do not want to attach ourselves to the same, because then we'll optimize for the wrong kind of things. So what we did was we figured out a metric which was NPS after every session and after the program itself. So we made sure that as soon as the session is ended, we will give every candidate 5 minutes and we mandatorily ask them that how would you go ahead and rate this session, along with a couple of other points of feedback. And we were able to make sure that yes, initially our NPS started with around 40 or 50, and right now it is consistently among 90 or 90 plus, to make sure that yes, after each and every session, people are contributing. And now this has also worked in us in both the ways. First of all, the mentors are motivated as soon as possible the session has ended. They are motivated to make sure that yes, how the session has been. So they are iterating on that feedback very quickly. That is why we are able to create a very phenomenal curriculum and impact out there. And the second part is that it is helping us in the business, because in NPS, we ask people that would you be willing to go ahead and refer this course to other people? And about 50-70% of people that come to HelloPM right now are coming from the referrals that we provide. So far, we do not have the referral program. Right now, like I think last month only, we have launched the referral program, and that has been working well for us.
Amazing, amazing. And so what you're saying is that you don't really tag like the success as the placement numbers and so on, and you don't even promise that while
Yes.
pitching.
So we do, yeah. So I'll tell you what happens is that is like, I would say like, and I would want to call this out into the audience out there, that placement guarantee is a hoax. Okay, understand, product management is such a high responsibility job that even if someone is telling you that you are going to get placement guaranteed from this job, that can never happen. Okay, even if you are hiring someone in your company as a product manager, if you'll understand how much responsibility this person is going to have, you cannot go ahead and maybe guarantee someone that you are going to go ahead and become a product manager.
Absolutely.
So what happens is that we have just gone ahead and turned the funnel altogether upside down. Okay, so rather than saying that this is a placement opportunity and we are convincing you to go ahead and get into the program, what we do is every information is written on the website. Okay, you don't have to go ahead and call us for any kind of information. The pricing, who are the mentors, what they are going to teach, what is the curriculum, what is going to be in every week. You have to do the research so that we understand you are willing to go ahead and invest time or not. Okay, and after that you can go ahead and schedule a call with us, which is mostly me or one of the other mentors out there. Okay, and there in this call, what happens? We don't convince you that you go ahead and join the program. You convince us that why you are a better candidate. And then we tell you that, boss, yes, there is a placement support. We make sure that we are helping you in improving the resume. We will help you in creating a portfolio that almost makes sure that you are going to get a job. And we also tell you that, yes, there are 500 to 700 alumni that are going to give you some kind of placement opportunities and referrals at their companies. But for that, you need to make sure that you are completing all the assignments. Okay. And then it flips the coin that yes, person understand that yes, they are willing to go ahead and work this much hard, then eventually they are going to get placement. Maybe if a very intelligent candidate is going to get the placement in 3 months, then maybe a person who's willing to put hard work, not coming from the right kind of experience, they will take maybe 6 or 7 at max. So I think we have built the whole curriculum, whole culture on the basis of meritocracy.
Absolutely, and this is I think phenomenal in terms of bringing that transparency out and getting that clarity at the first step, so that the person is also aligned with the right kind of
Correct. So we just
readiness
tell
to
them,
put.
right, correct. So we just tell them that yes, we have all the recipes for you. Okay, we have the companies, we have all the alumni working at these kind of companies. We have the proof that our alumni are going ahead and referring to other people as well, because many of our alumni are working in similar kind of companies or similar companies. Okay, so we have everything. We have a good interview preparation module. We have all the mentors. We have mock interviews. We have everything. Now it's up to you to go ahead and maybe convert this recipe in the form of dish and eat for yourself.
And how many people are like, what is the current number of people who have completed this course with you
I
over
think
the
that would
last
be
few
around.
years?
I think we have just reached around 1,000 people.
Oh, that's not bad, yeah. I mean, this was in how much time?
This is in 2.5 years. So we started our first batch in Feb. So the journey has been like very exponential. So we started first batch with about 12 to 15 people in February of 2021. Okay. And then for the 3 months, we did not start any batch. We focused on this particular batch because we were figuring out the curriculum. We are understanding what we need to do. Then the other batch we started in May. And then after that, we started one batch in every 2 months. Right now, I think our frequency is about 2 batches or at least one batch in every 30 days. So, and initially the batch was around 12, 15 people, then it became 30 people. And then for a long period of time, we have been running about 50 new people in a batch, and 10 people we keep a buffer for, if, for example, if someone is enrolled in a particular batch, but they are not able to continue curriculum because of some of the other things, because curriculum is not,
shift.
so they can go ahead and shift. So we keep that 10 or 5 buffer for those people.
Got it. And one thing which is, again, I would want to highlight, which is really, really amazing by what you're doing is no spend on marketing as such. You have a
Yes.
lot of inbound and a lot of referral, which is working great for you. And I think this is just a boon for any business, that the marketing spend or the CAC stands zero, right? And now going a level deeper there, you have a strong personal brand as well, right? In terms of your online presence, and especially LinkedIn, right? You have more than or around 60,000 followers as such, something in the 50 to 60
About
range.
58
And
or something, yes.
and you put a lot of valuable content for the PM folks community. So how was your journey into building this, and what does it take to build an online brand? Because in today's space, I think this really helps. Like, even whatever you are doing, right, the job, be it running a business and so on, if you have distribution, that definitely adds, and people like connecting to people, as simple as that, right? So how did this journey of putting content on LinkedIn started, and like any frameworks you follow, and how are you able to publish that kind of content?
Cool. So I'll tell you, for me, it has been very organic and very cyclic, because
Okay.
you see that whatever we teach at HelloPM, so initially I have created the curriculum at HelloPM, and you'll see that my journey on LinkedIn, like some really formal journey, has only started at the time when I have started HelloPM. Okay, so I was working with a lot of content, but I was not finding time to go ahead and push this content online and all. So what I did was I spent some time in order to create the curriculum. Whatever you see on my LinkedIn portfolio, that is some or the other part of curriculum that we teach at HelloPM. Maybe not in the complete format, but maybe 10-20% of the same. So I do not have to work hard on the content, because content has already created. I just see that what is happening new in the market, and how I can use that particular concept in order to teach other people a particular important concept. Use that case study in order to go ahead and teach you a particular concept out there. So I think the content journey has not been very difficult for us, but it has been very cyclic and compounding, because once I have created the content, initially it was a lot of efforts, but now it compounds. So you'll see on my LinkedIn that maybe after every month or so, I'm able to repeat content, because there are new people who want to again read the same, and also content is very in-depth and it is very detailed. So people go ahead and come up. I just make sure that I'm putting the content on a very regular basis. So every day from
Consistency
10
you
to
are
11, you'll
following.
be able to find that consistency. Yeah.
Got it. And like what are, like, let's say, the top like pieces of, or top, I mean, top ways where you feel that okay, following this really helps build your brand or so, especially on LinkedIn, right? One is consistency, and then how do you approach this? Of course, you have a lot of content, but let's say someone who is really starting up and doesn't have access to running cohort-based course. So for them, what would be your advice to building a brand on LinkedIn?
Yeah, so I'll tell you, you have to like look at this in I have a simple framework for the same, which is look inward and then look extward. Okay, which is look externally. Okay, for externally, things are very clear. Okay, so what would people like? Okay, so you know that yes, if you are able to take like a very popular concept which people are afraid of, and if you are able to go ahead and put it into simpler words, people are going to like it. Okay, and if you go ahead and put it in the form of some visual imagery, people are going to like it. If there is something very popular that is running, for example, Airbnb is doing a lot of stuff with product management, and people are questioning the future of product management, this stuff is running. Okay, if you can go ahead and build on these kind of trends, that can also help. So take some universal evergreen concepts and try to make them very simple, as I have done with some of the APIs and webhook posts. Similarly, you can go ahead and make something very visual, that I have done with like some API cheat sheet as well. And then you can go ahead and work on some kind of trends out there. You don't have to always work on trend, but whatever you have something valuable to add, you can go ahead and add on that particular trend. Okay, so these are things which are externally, like which is the audience wants. Okay, you have to wrap it up in a particular way out there. Now the second thing is, which has to like go ahead and overlap with this thing, is that what is it that you actually know? Okay, and one mistake that I've seen people make is that once they want to get consistent with content, they are pushing each and every kind of content, which is if I know that I am good with product management, I should also know that if I want to be a like a very good product manager out there, I might not be very good with maybe some other things. Maybe I'll not be very good with maybe fashion or motivation or something else out there. Okay. But what do people do is that once they have like acquired this kind of audience, which is trusting them for a particular kind of content, then they digress from the content. Okay. So I think both things are required. Once you should look externally, you are always like, content creation is also like product management. You should put the user at the center, but you should also look, which is what are the strengths of your company, which is yourself, like what kind of content that you can put, how much is too much for you. And these days I'm also able to find that you can also collaborate with people. I do not do like collaborations with people, but I think if you are a new product like a new creator in product management or any of the fields out there, or maybe any kind of, you want to create some content on LinkedIn, I would say collaborate with people who are having the similar kind of following as you have. So I think that can also help you out.
Got it. Thank you for this timeless advice. These are like some great nuggets on content creation. I think I will also pick few of the ones you really shared, as I'm fairly junior to you in this journey. So would definitely take that up from you. Yeah, I also want to, talk about, and this is something which I keep on tinkering a lot, but want to have your perspective about the future of work and jobs, right? I mean, the whole GPT era is we are into the GPT era, right? I must say, like the whole need of this doing those manual grunt work is going away because you have someone or something which can do it in a fraction of time, right? So of course things are going to be automated. Grunt work is tending towards being removed or being automated, of course. How do you absorb that in the world of tech and product management, and what are the positives you find in that, and what are the things you are worried about?
Okay. So I think as long as humans are controlling what is happening in tech, that's very good for us. But when the coin is going to be reversed, I don't know what is going to happen. But I'll not speak from a technology or product management perspective, because what happens is that is going to give us something which is like very short term, which is we'll care about our jobs, I'll care about my business, and I'll try to say that no, things are not going to change, and these kind of things. Okay. But I'll try to put it from a humanity perspective. I think we all are living in a country which is India, where we understand that about like 5-10% of people are actually making the lot of money that even the rest of the 90% are not able to make. Okay. So we are already in the kind of disparity. Okay. Which also means that even if there is like so much disparity in the kind of lives that we live in India and the kind of incomes that we have, the government has been able to go ahead and balance things out. Okay. So government has made sure that there are certain kind of policies that, yes, the people who are below the poverty line, they are able to sustain themselves. And also I think with AI, if we are getting into the generalized AI phase where our mundane tasks are going to be done by AI, and then we have to only do things that require a higher level of thinking, I think that is a positive sign for us, because we do not have to do the grunt work. Okay.
Correct.
And then I believe that over this, we need to have a very strong ethical and a legal layer, so that the wealth will always shift, but the rights to go ahead, our fundamental rights and how we are going ahead and living in this world, they should not change much. So I think the concept of universal common income, it is going to thrive in this particular world. And I'm not sure like if ChatGPT was created like last year in September, October, something, I was expecting that things will move much faster. But in the last 6 months, I think that we are only going ahead and creating better versions of Adobe Photoshop and Adobe Illustrator and better Canvas. But I was assuming that things will move much faster. But I think I was not correct at that period of time. So I'm very positive.
Sorry, please go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm very positive about this AI era and all, because I believe that people, in the end, humans are going to be ethical. There are going to be legal boundaries in which everyone has to work, every company has to work. And if we are able to take away the grunt work, which is a lot of dangerous jobs that we have, if AI can take them, that is going to make like Earth a better planet for everyone. We'll have free time to pursue what you want.
Yep. I think in the ideal world, we all should be more effective in doing more creative and thinking work, right, versus doing the repeatable stuff ourselves. So that is even my lens. And I also feel that the development in the last year has been really, really fast, but the absorption and the real understanding, right? Like the signal to noise ratio is less at the moment, because of course there is so much to consume, so much to look at. But with time, this will mature and the signal gets out and people start building more real stuff. And anyways, like,
Correct.
people
Because
are doing that.
yes,
Right?
because I believe still we do not have a democratization of AI. Okay. If you look at
Hmm.
that, yes, many companies have gone ahead and they have created like open source models out there, but the data is limited. And there is only one king in this particular market, okay, which is whenever any new AI startups comes up, at the back end, they are using some or the other form of open AI or some other like some Google Vertex or something that they have taken. Okay. So I think once that opens up and people understand that, yes, and the cost of AI goes down, I think then we'll see the next thing of revolution or revolution in terms of AI.
Absolutely. And the right security measures and so on also getting built. It's like saying, the internet came up and there was this www dot thing which people started accessing, but then came the SSL layer, which was the security and authentication thing,
Correct, correct.
which needs to also get built on top of AI.
Correct, correct. So
So
my bet is on adaptability of human beings. They are going to adopt, but no matter what happens.
fair, like 100%, 100%. Cool. I think one last question, which is pretty generic, but I will ask because it adds a lot of value for the kind of world we live in, where there are so many people who are, let's say not specially from the tech background, and you yourself quoted example of a student from your batch who ended up getting an internship and then getting converted, right? I personally feel that there's a lot of fear around, not, or let's call it insecurity around not being associated to the tech world, to the world of coding, to the world of building products, and, and not coming from a prestigious institute because even by general numbers, like we have a lot of population to cater to, but lesser number of colleges and so on. So, of course, not practically possible. So, what is your advice, or let's say a thinking framework to these kids, right, who are really early in their journey, and maybe people want to switch saying कि यार अच्छा मैंने business analyst का role कर लिया बहुत time, but I want to see what is happening because it's so glamorous, there's a lot of money, there's a lot of opportunities, people build cool stuff, and also a way to just showcase, right, or show off. But genuine people who want to, let's say, कि, okay, I have some intent to go there, but really insecure about my skills. How do I look up to this product management space?
Cool, cool. तो यार मैं एक बात बताता हूँ मतलब and this is like something that I've learned across these years, okay, which is I think is a very important sentence for all the people who are listening to this who are aspiring product managers. यार प्रोडक्ट मैनेजर क्या होता है? तुम्हें प्रोडक्ट मैनेजमेंट करने के लिए प्रोडक्ट मैनेजर बनने की जरूरत नहीं है ना.
Hmm.
मतलब तुम्हें प्रोडक्ट मैनेजमेंट करने के लिए तुम्हें प्रोडक्ट मैनेजर बनने की जरूरत नहीं है. विच इज तुम जहां भी हो, तुम जो भी कर रहे हो, तुम कॉलेज में हो तो तुम कुछ साइड प्रोजेक्ट बना सकते हो, तुम अपना पोर्टफोलियो बना सकते हो. ओके. तुम अगर एक जॉब में हो तो अपने प्रोडक्ट मैनेजर की हेल्प कर सकते हो, यूजर रिसर्च कर सकते हो, कस्टमर रिसर्च कर सकते हो, मार्केट रिसर्च कर सकते हो. तुम अगर अभी मतलब फ्रेशर हो या फिर जॉब सीख कर रहे हो तो तुम काफी सारी चीजें कर सकते हो. सो आई वुड से कि अगर तुम्हें प्रोडक्ट मैनेजर बनना ही है, देर आर सो मेनी रिसोर्सेज फ्रॉम वेयर यू कैन लर्न. लॉट ऑफ देम आर फ्री. उनको कंसिडर करो. गो अहेड एंड ट्राई टू लर्न दीज स्किल्स बाय योरसेल्फ. और ज्यादा टाइम इसमें नहीं लगता है. ऑल ऑफ दीज आर लाइक नॉट दीज स्किल्स की तुम्हें मतलब बहुत ज्यादा टाइम लगेगा इसको लर्न करने में. ओके. देर आर सो मेनी रिसोर्सेज. उनको कंज्यूम करो और प्रूफ करो. इशू क्या होता है कि अगर आप एक एम्प्लॉयर के हिसाब से देखो कि एम्प्लॉयर को क्यों आईटी का बंदा चाहिए, क्यों आईएम का बंदा चाहिए, क्यों टियर 1 कॉलेज का बंदा चाहिए, बिकॉज उनको क्या लगता है कि यार इस बंदे का आईक्यू सही है एंड ही कैन गो हेड एंड डू द प्रॉब्लम सॉल्विंग, बिकॉज एक पीरियड ऑफ टाइम पे उसने एक डिफिकल्ट एग्जाम वहां से क्रैक किया था. एक फिल्टर बहुत स्ट्रॉग है वहां पे, राइट. और साथ में अगर फिल्टर क्रैक किया तो
Hard
अच्छे
working.
एनवायरमेंट, राइट, 4-5 महीने 4-5 साल वो एक एनवायरमेंट रहा है तो ही शुड बी एबल टू डू इट. और उस तरह से मतलब बंदे ने सोच भी लिया होगा, राइट. और उसको अब दिक्कत क्या है, वो तुम पे ट्रस्ट नहीं करता क्योंकि तुम्हारे पास कुछ ऐसा एक क्रेडेंशियल नहीं है और उसको ट्रस्ट भी नहीं है कि भाई तुम प्रोडक्ट मैनेजमेंट कर पाओगे कि नहीं कर पाओगे. ओके. और वो हाई रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी जॉब है. तो आपको क्या करना है, आपको ना कुछ भी करके उस बंदे का भरोसा जीतना है. और भरोसा जीतने
Hmm.
का सिंपल तरीका है, उसके लिए कुछ कर दो. जैसे एक एडवाइस मैं सबको देता हूँ कि यार देखो, तुम रिज्यूमे से तो अप्लाई कर ही रहे हो जाए तो बहुत अच्छी बात है. तुम पोर्टफोलियो तो अपना बनाओगे ही, हो जाए तो उससे बहुत अच्छी बात है. अगर फिर भी नहीं होता या फिर तुम्हें कोई स्पेसिफिक कंपनी में जाना है तो क्या करो, 5-10 कंपनियों की लिस्ट बना लो कि यार मुझे ये 5-10 कंपनियों में जाना है. अगर ये कंपनी आपस में रिलेटेड है, जैसे कि मान लो एक ही पर्टिकुलर इंटरेस्ट की फील्ड में है और तुम्हें भी उस फील्ड में इंटरेस्ट है, एक ही इंडस्ट्री से है, तो आई थिंक दैट इज वेरी वेल, बिकॉज तुम्हें बार बार रिसर्च नहीं करनी पड़ेगी. और फिर क्या करो, तुम अज्यूम करो यार कि तुम इसमें से किसी कंपनी के प्रोडक्ट मैनेजर बनी चुके हो. अब
Hmm.
बताओ कि तुम पहले 6 महीने में क्या करो. तो भाई तुमने सीखा तो है प्रोडक्ट मैनेजमेंट, उसके लिए तुम्हें कुछ करना नहीं है, राइट. तुम सिंपल जाके क्या करो, बताओ कि भाई अब तुम 6 महीने में क्या करोगे, क्या तुम्हारा प्रोडक्ट रोड मैप होगा, क्या फीचर्स तुम बनाओगे, क्या तुमने यूजर रिसर्च करी है, क्यों करना चाहिए, कंपनी के लिए क्यों अच्छा है, कॉम्पिटिटर से तुम कैसे अपना वैल्यू प्रोपोजिशनिंग अलग करोगे, व्हाट वुड बी योर प्लान. अगर ये तुम अच्छे से आर्टिकुलेट करके एक स्लाइड में या एक नोशन डॉक्यूमेंट में कहीं कुछ वेबसाइट पे डाल वाल के अगर उस बंदे को भेजोगे जो इस कंपनी में सीनियर प्रोडक्ट मैनेजर है, सीईओ है, फाउंडर है, आई कैन अश्योर यू 10 में से 3-4 तो बल्कि तुम्हें बंदे बोलेंगे कि भाई ठीक है, वी आर इंटरेस्टेड इन टॉकिंग टू यू। बिकॉज क्या होता है कि एक तो तुमने ट्रस्ट बता दिया उसको, सारी चीजें ब्लैक एंड व्हाइट है, तुम्हें आता है तो भी उस डॉक्यूमेंट में दिख रहा है, नहीं आता है तो भी दिख रहा है। दैट इज द फर्स्ट थिंग। सेकंड थिंग इज दैट कि यार तुम जिस बंदे के लिए काम करो, यू आर अ फाउंडर योर सेल्फ, अगर आपके लिए कोई 4-5-10 घंटे 20 घंटे लगा के कोई देता है तो यूल बी इंटरेस्टेड इन नोइंग अबाउट हिम, क्या रे बंदा क्या कर रहा है, ही इज इंटरेस्टेड सो मच पैशनेट अबाउट माय कंपनी। एंड ऑल्सो क्या होता है प्रोडक्ट मैनेजमेंट में आपको लोगों के पीछे भागना होता है काम कराने के लिए, तो आपके पास ओनरशिप बहुत ज्यादा होनी चाहिए। और आप इस एक्सरसाइज को करके खुद अपनी ओनरशिप दिखा रहे हो कि यार मतलब मैं आपके यहाँ अप्लाई करता, आप मेरा रिज्यूमे सेलेक्ट करते, फिर आप मुझे असाइनमेंट देते, भाई मैंने पहले ही करके दे दिया था, नाउ आई वांट यू गो अहेड एंड सेलेक्ट मी। तो अगर ये लोग कर लेंगे तो आई डू नॉट थिंक कि मतलब अगर आप 10-20 कंपनी के साथ ऐसा करते हो तो आप बिना जॉब के फिर, so I think that would be my actionable advice for people.
Yeah, I've asked this question to, like, of course, on the show and outside to multiple people, but this is a very practical and clear advice for anyone who wants to pursue. And this applies to not only product management, but
But
in
any,
general, I guess, right? The resources to learn are free in today's world. It's your, I would say, only the thing which is holding you back is you yourself. So
yes, yes, yes,
just, yeah, just try to deliver value to someone. And when you rightly said that people look for credentials, I think people look, and especially me, for example, as a founder, that okay, if this person will be able to create value for the organization, or for something, whatever, right? So this is a great way to show that you can deliver value. And if you are able to convince someone out of it, of course there are so many
राइट, करेक्ट करेक्ट।
opportunities.
तो हमें मतलब रिस्क कम करना है एज अ फाउंडर, वो अपना
Correct.
रिस्क, या फिर वो एम्प्लॉयर वो अपना रिस्क कम करने की कोशिश कर रहा है, तो उसका रिस्क फिर तुम्हें लेना है कि भाई ठीक है मैं करूंगा 4 कंपनी अप्लाई, मे बी शायद 2 कंपनी नहीं करेंगी मुझे अप्लाई, मुझे रिप्लाई नहीं करेंगी, तो तुम वो उसका रिस्क उठा लो एंड ही विल बी विलिंग टू गो अहेड एंड गिव यू एन अपॉर्चुनिटी आउट
Got it. Cool. This is amazing, yeah. I only had these many things to discuss. Feels like that I should just continue talking to you on so many other things, but that's
there।
probably for some other time.
श्योर श्योर,
Thank you, Ankit, for doing this. It was
थैंक्स अ लॉट
lovely to
वैभव।
have you, and I'll also post details about the HelloPM course and other resources which you generally post on your LinkedIn. Probably I'll put your LinkedIn so that people can
श्योर
go
श्योर
and who are looking to explore the space, understand. And thank you for all your advice and all your frameworks being shared.
श्योर श्योर।